Great, pros. I just had to adjust the camera a little bit there. Welcome to our morning market update for Tuesday, August the 8th of 2017. It's George Papazov. We got a new week, new opportunity. Yesterday was pretty slow. There was no real economic news to drive the day yesterday, and it was a very slow day. We tapped out early. I actually didn't place a single trade, and it felt great. I got a chance to get out, enjoy some of the weather, go out there, have a few drinks, have some nice lunch with all my friends, and just relax a little bit. That's what everybody else is doing. Why do you think the market's not moving? Everybody's on vacation. They're taking a chance to get some time off with their family, portfolio managers, institutional traders, and everybody else as well. In fact, a lot of the guys that I know leave for August. One guy I know leaves all of July and August, and sometimes even June. Takes off for 3 months and goes somewhere and doesn't even look at the computer. I couldn't do that. I get too rusty trading. Anyways, no big earnings as of yesterday. However, markets today in Asia, Japan's down 0.3%, Hong Kong's up 0.6%, China's up 0.1%, and India's down almost 1% at negative 0.8%. In Europe, London's flat, Paris is flat, Frankfurt's up 0.1%, so very anemic growth there, or anemic gains. And futures here on the U.S. session so far, Dow's flat, S&P's flat, NASDAQ's absolutely flat, and crude oil is up 0.7%. We'll talk about that in a moment. Gold's up 0.3% to $12.69. 10-year yield at 2.26% flat as well. So you could see equity markets aren't doing anything. There is no momentum. A lot of times when we talk about the morning market updates, we'll say, hey guys, heavy gains in Europe. Let's see if we could squeeze out some of these positions into the close of the European session around 11:30 in the morning Eastern. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Today, there's absolutely no momentum carrying into the U.S. session. Asian markets are flat. European markets are totally flat. And U.S. markets are starting to look flat as well on the open. So there isn't much volatility. There isn't much volume. And when there isn't much volume and volatility, there's not much of a move. And that's just what it is. You just got to take it at face value. Doesn't mean there isn't going to be an opportunity to trade. Today in the room, we're going to look at multiple products, and we're going to find something to trade. We could even look at gold. We could look at currencies. We could look at silver, energy markets, equity indices. All right. We look at fixed income products. We trade anything and everything that moves at any given day. One of them is going to move. You just got to find which one it is. And when you use the right tools, you can spot the opportunities. All right, Chinese exports today. Let's talk about the Dow Jones first and the S&P. They traded to new all-time highs. Both those indexes touched new all-time highs briefly and then reversed to stay range-bound or to go back into range-bound mode. I'll tell you a few markets that aren't liking this move. Dow Jones Transports, the Dow T index, is driving sharply lower. It's a very important thing, because in mid-July, when it broke out bullish, all right, just absolutely cracked the top, took out some buy stops. What happened was it dragged the S&P with it. You have to understand, the Dow Transports leads the market. And if you don't understand that, then you've got some catching up to do here. Dow Transports breaks out and leads the market upward, and the S&P started to track with it in mid-July. The problem is, the second the Dow Transports popped up, they sold off just as quick, and they've continued to drive new lows until yesterday's session. Okay, we're continuing to pump lows and put lows into the market. Meanwhile, the S&P holds above the gains. So it's given the Dow a chance to bounce, but it hasn't. Dow popped, pulled the S&P. Now the Dow Transports are just absolutely tanking. The S&P's hanging on to gains, but it's in thin air. It's in that zone when you're climbing Mount Everest called the death zone about Camp 4, where the second you start going above that altitude, your body starts dying. You're in a state of decomposing and dying. Your cells can't grow. You start dying off. So it's just a matter of time. I think that's where the market's at. Dow Transport's sending us a clear signal to watch out. Recessions, be careful. Recessions usually start with this pattern. The Dow Transports will sell off, and then it'll pull everything down. I'm not saying that this is a recession or expect a 20% drop, but I am saying where there have been big drops, this has preceded it each time. And if you go do the research, you'll see that I'm right. FANG stocks remain 5% lower from the top as well. So FANG, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, and I did a great video on how to create a FANG index, and I'll put that in the description link. So if you click it, you can find it and watch it. And in fact, I'll add it at the end of this video so it goes there automatically. That's trading 5% lower, and as a result, it's pulling NASDAQ down. Russell 2000 index is also on lows. It's selling off as S&P and Dow have gained. So it's not like everything's participating in rally. And in fact, only the Dow and the S&P are up to new highs. All other markets and correlations are actually pulling back and seeing some lows. So careful. It's a low volume, low volatility summer session. Don't get too in love with the upside because I got a bad feeling about it. Chinese imports and export data missed expectations greatly overnight, the weakest report since 2007. Yet at the same time, the yuan and the Asia stock market rallied higher. Why is that? Because the way it was interpreted by traders is if their trade balance is lower, then they're not exporting as much. Lower exports probably means they might avoid some of the protectionism measures Donald Trump is trying to force onto them. So that's how it was spun as a positive. And when you start to take negative reports and spin them as positive news, you're starting to see the beginning of a market that's rounding out at the top. All right, you're starting to see the beginning of a euphoric stage, or the ending stages rather, of euphoria, and then it coasts. It's like the roller coaster. You know, when you're going up, you hear the click, 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 and then it just stops clicking, and you round about. And as you start to dip, you're like, oh, you know what? And then the fun starts. So that's kind of where we're at in the market. Today, oil prices are on the rise on reports that Saudi Aramco, remember, it's a massive Saudi company, we'll talk about it, will cut crude oil allocations in September by at least 500 or 500,000 barrels per day. This is big news. So that's putting a bit of a bid into the market. Remember, in oil, OPEC has a meeting that's lasting through today as well. It's a two-day meeting, yesterday and today, Monday, Tuesday, and they're talking about compliance rate of their production cut deal they made to end 2016. All right, and the reason that's big news is because 86% are complying to the production cuts. That means 14% are oversupplying the market. In comparison to the previous period, it was 99%. So we're seeing some producers falling off the bandwagon here on the agreed upon quotas. That's going to be interesting to see. At the end of this meeting, they're going to release a final report. That'll be interesting to watch. Also, Aramco, the whole important thing with this cut of production by Saudi Aramco, it's one of the biggest companies. It's private at the moment, but it's trying to IPO. Its IPO is going to be just 5% of the market value. They're only going to IPO 5% of the company's total value. And it's going to be worth $100 billion. This is a massive company worth $2 trillion. Okay, it's big oil money. And it's going to easily dwarf 4 times the IPO size of Alibaba, which was the largest in history at $25 billion. It's a 400% times bigger IPO. That's coming in late 2018. And we think all this production cut out of Saudi Arabia, this entire incentive and initiative to reduce oil production is in preparation to get as much money as possible for the 5% that they're going to IPO. And it makes sense. It makes a ton of sense. $100 billion is a lot of money to collect publicly from the market, so they better make sure the oil prices support it so they could promote it more to investors and get as high as possible a share price on the opening day. All right, it's straight. It makes sense. I can't blame them. What else can I say here? I covered that. Oh, today as well, API stats on oil. So the American Petroleum Institute, this is a private subscriber release. At 4:30 it goes private, 4:35 it goes public, and you get to see a lot of moves in oil. I was just telling the group before I started this broadcast that if today really stinks and there's no opportunity to trade, I'm not going to force it because I know I've got the option. I got the wild card option to go in there, trade API oil stats at 4:30 p.m. So if I got no opportunities, I'm not going to go put risk on the line hoping for something to go my way. I don't have to force it. I could wait, and there's a lot of opportunity coming later on this afternoon, and easily in oil in the last 30 minutes from 4:30 to about 5 to 5:30, you could make your whole week's worth of gains just trading that one report. There's a lot of movement and volatility. So that might be something I got to do today. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Got to pay the bills. They got to trade. You guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Before the open, and we'll set up another day of market or a morning market update. If you have any questions, let me know. Type in the comment box. Please like and subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of great content coming your way, and we look forward to it. Take care, guys. Trade careful and adjust your trading strategy for reduced summer volatility. All right. Join us. We trade every morning from 9 to 11 a.m. live in our live trading room. Speaking of which, Trade Pros in the trading room. Give me a second. Let me turn around and end this broadcast. Let's open the charts. Let's talk about some levels and how we're going to make some money today. Take care, guys. Have a great day.